Good morning, everybody. Today is September 17, 2024, and the markets are looking to go back to all-time highs. And my computer again doesn't want to show me the right charts. I don't understand why this happens, but so we have ES here. Hold on one second. Apologize for this. We have ES here that has been one-time framing higher on the daily. You can see that. This is a back adjusted chart. And we are now trading in this range, in this previous area where we had some acceptance. Yesterday and the day before, we were just holding there where the 20-day point of control was, and during the overnight session we broke above this range. We're gonna be opening outside of yesterday's range with a true gap, and with a lot of highs that haven't been tested in this area, and a gap right here, and all-time highs very close to where we're at now, relatively speaking. So we're opening with inventory about, I would say, about 80%, I don't know, 70% long. So if we correct some of that inventory, what I would expect is a push higher to take these highs. Have traders chase this gap fill and then fail to fill the gap and go back into value. And then we have two areas that I'm interested in. One is this upper distribution from the overnight session. You can see more clearly here that left this single print between yesterday's high and 57.07. So I'm gonna see if we pull back and we trade through this range. I'm gonna see if this single prints hold. If they hold, that will be a good spot to go long and move back to the upper part of the range. If we fill the gap to yesterday's high, then I'm gonna be seeing if we accept inside the range, and if we do, then chances are that we travel to the other side of the range. We have 2 days here where the value area low is at 56.82, and if you look at Friday's value, it's almost at the same spot. So that's gonna be the target if we accept inside yesterday's range. And then below that, if we're here, you can see that there's a low volume node there. But if we get below that, then I'm going to be looking for the lows to be taken and a retest of this untested point of control from this session on the 12th of September, which is here 56.60. And then this should be support between 56.50 and 56.55. And then from there, we'll be looking for long setups back into the point of control at 56.90. If we get below that area, then we have this down here, 56.20. We have a high volume node, and below that, we have this area at 55.90. 55.95. That's another area where we had a lot of volume prior to breaking above it. NQ has been weaker than ES throughout this whole time, and it's way, it's still not even close to all-time highs. So you can see that if we get if we get above this highs, then we still have to go through this area of resistance above 20,000. Then we can look for move into the 20,240, which is where the 90-day point of control is, and travel through this range, and then look at where how far all-time high is. It's way up here, so we still have a lot of room to go within Q if we want to revisit all-time highs. If other than that, we are accepting in this area, similar to ES, where this was previous acceptance, and a failure to move about 20,000, then it'll come back likely to this 20-day point of control. And here we have some support between 320 and 400, where we have the 50-day moving average. We have a low volume node, and an area where we can look for longs back into the point of control. Crude oil has rolled over to the X contract, and we have a pending gap to fill back to 72.28, but this area it's a resistance area, so a failure to move above this through this, then we're gonna come back into the 20-day point of control, which is at 68, 65-ish or 68-ish, and then back into this range. But so far I found buyers at the area that I had mentioned before. In this contract is a 64.40, but it's where we had that low volume, the fade of volume in the 365 day profile, and it worked really nicely, and we are back into the point of control right now. If we for some reason break this area, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the 90-day point of control. Hold on one second. I mean the 90-day volume profile, and you can see that in here the 90-day point of control is way up here at 77.60. But if you look at this area and this area, they have very similar volume. So we have these three clear targets if we get above. Because if you remember back when we were in this area, Crude was having trouble finding acceptance at the level, so it kept going back and forth in this huge range. So the first one to target would be here, right up here, right above the gap fill at 72.60, and then the next one is 74.80, 76, and then 77.60. So those are the levels to watch if we're able to get through this low volume area. And gold, still balancing here, still accepting. So this usually shows acceptance when we put up, we're consolidating, putting volume up here, accepting prices. So you can clearly see where value is being accepted after breaking this, and the target to you can see now that on the longer term we have a volume with excess on the downside, but we still don't have excess on the upside. So to repair this imbalance, we need some excess on the upside, and my target, remember, is at 26.39.60. When we get there, then I consider this area in balance, right? And likely if we get there, then we're gonna attempt to move back to this wherever the point of control ends up being that shifts from here to here. If we are not able to hold these prices, we're going to come back into this area of value, where current value is. Okay, remember we have FOMC this week. We're still rolling over to the Z contract, so still things are going to be a little weird. I was mentioning on the Discord that the pace of the roll has been a little slow compared to other times. It started catching up a little bit, but you can see that, you know, this is the average of how fast it moves. You can see how it was lagging and then it's catching up, but it's still lagging, right? This is the average, and this is this is where we're at as of today. I think this is the latest one I got from the CME website. So we're not complete yet. We're like about 50 something, 60% complete, and we still have 3 days left on this contract. So we're still gonna get a little bit of rollover weirdness and price action and sweeps and split volume. So keep that in mind. And as far as news, today we have some Fed speaking at 10, some US industrial production at 9:15, which is in 3 minutes. And 20-year bond auction. And then tomorrow we have FOMC, housing, US housing, crude inventories, and the interest rate decision tomorrow. We'll see what happens with that. Everybody's waiting for that and watching that. So keep an eye on that. All right, good luck.